friends, my name is Jake. Welcome to Canadian Cutting Edge. And oh, Bandit wants up again. Come. There we go. There we go. I've got some dog hair in my mouth. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Hey, I've got some news. Yes. My son is moving to the other side of Canada from here in Alberta over to Ottawa. His girlfriend just finished her computer engineering degree, and she's going to be working at a company that's working on the rovers that are going to Mars. So she's got to move over there, and he's moving with her, and I'm helping them move, helping them drive the U-Haul. I used to be a driving instructor in another life, a long time ago, back when I was in my early 20s. And so my son wants me to help drive. He's nervous about driving. And so is his girlfriend. So that's what I'll be doing for the next week or so. I leave on Thursday morning. I help them pack on Wednesday. So I won't have a lot of time to make videos for the next week or so. And then at the beginning of June, I'm going to Blade Show. So for the foreseeable future, I'm going to be not making videos, then making for a few weeks, and then not making videos for another week or two. So that's just the way it goes sometimes, right? But for now, we're going to take a look at the Civivi Elementum. I've got a G10 version of this knife. D2 steel, hollow grind, under 3-inch flipper. Most of you have seen all kinds of videos about this. I have not seen any reviews of this knife. I know they're out there. There's a lot of them out there. But I don't watch other reviewers to see what they have to say about knives before I do my videos. I make my own opinions from scratch. I carry the knife. I work with the knife. I cut with the knife. And now I'm going to tell you what I think of the knife. So keep watching. Jake's perspective on the Civivi Elementum folding knife. I did the review of the Elementum fixed blade about a month ago. So now it's time to see what I think of this guy. Keep watching. Let's begin by going over the versions of this knife. I'm not going to show you pictures of everything. There's a load of versions of this knife. White Mountain Knives sells this in 27 different ways. D2 steel is the most popular, but you've also got pattern welded steel, aka Damascus, and a variety of handle scales. You got G10, you've got micarta, you've got two different kinds of wood, you got shredded carbon fiber, a lot of different ways to get it. Of course, the lowest priced way, like I said, is this one. White Mountain Knives sells this for $50.15 US. So it's well within the range that I target for these reviews. You save 10% at White Mountain Knives, and that makes it $45.14 US. Roughly 58 Canadian dollars for this knife. Of course, the price goes up. Micarta adds a couple bucks, and then, the wood adds a few bucks more, etc., etc. In Canada, I've got to deal with Integrity Knives to get 10% off there with coupon code CCE. They've only got this in the olive green micarta, and they're way overpriced. $105 Canadian for this knife with the olive green micarta. $104.99. You save 10%. That's still $94.49 Canadian. And like I said, this G10 version is 58 Canadian at White Mountain Knives. That's enough of all the prices. What do we got here? Like I said, we've got a D2 steel blade. It starts off as a straight back, then it's got a drop point right here, a bit of a swedge there, nice hollow grind, very thin behind the edge, which I'm very happy with, and jimping on the spine here, and there's enough of it, and it's good jimping. This is a great knife if you need to do a little bit of puncturing and stuff, and you need to do a lot of slicing and cutting. This thin edge here, it's fairly well sharpened at the factory. It performed very well in my testing. It cuts great, it pierces good, it slices good. It's a well-performing knife. It's D2. I'm starting to get very tired of D2, but D2 itself isn't all that bad. It's a very good steel. Now you can see quite often I'm doing this and then finishing it off. I've not adjusted this from the factory, and it's just not, it doesn't, there I had to hit it to make it close. It's not sliding very well. I'm going to take this apart later on in the video, and I'm going to lubricate it, and you're going to see how much smoother this action is. Hopefully it's a lot smoother. But from the factory, it's not very smooth. And the detent is okay. Not quite strong enough, but it's okay. And if it was a little bit stronger detent, it would work better as well, because you'd build up more pressure before it would release and then come flying out. Other than that, lockup, very good. I like exactly where it's locked up. It's not come loose on me any times. No blade placed side to side, up and down. The lock has not been disengaged accidentally. Blade alignment when it's closed, right down the middle, just like you want it to be. And when you want to unlock the knife, the blade tang comes out a little bit. It's got that bumpy jimping on there, so it's easy to disengage that lock when you want to with either the right or left hand. So that's good. Grip. Well, you've also got a forward choil on this guy. It doesn't really look so much like a forward choil, but it really is. They've made a nice sharpness choil. It comes out far enough, which means when you sharpen this thing, you're not going to be riding up the plunge with your stone if you're careful at all. But your finger can fit in there, and you can get a decent forward grip if you want one. I wouldn't have minded if this was cut a little closer to the liners instead of sticking out as far as it does. Then it would be a little more comfortable, but it's not bad. It's actually quite good. It's chamfered on the edges here, and it's a decent grip. The badging on this, we've got a little D2 right there on the blade, and on this side, nothing else. That's all there is on the knife. But we've got the C on the pin here, which Civivi's been doing for a long time, since they started. The grip on the handle, well, your liners are the liners are sticking out a little bit. The handle scales are inset just a little bit, but the liners are nicely rounded. It's very comfortable in hand. You've got nice smooth transitions all over the place. The flat slab G10's got a good texture on it. The edges are nicely softened off. You've got T8 screws, which I'm very fond of. I like those T8 screws here. You've got G10 cutaways for the pocket clip, for the lanyard hole, which is very nice so that any paracord through there doesn't bunch out very high. I like that. Pocket clip, deep carry clip, and we've got T6 screws, which I'm not that fond of. These T6 screws are not part of the main body of the knife, so you can easily take that off and not worry about it at all. Civivi does make their pocket clip stick out a little bit further than it needs to, but it's not bad. It doesn't get hot in the hand on this one. And the clip, it's got a flat top there. Good springiness, good retention. I like it. We've got hourglass-shaped body pins back here. Quite nice. Lots of skeletonizing in the handle. The balance point is right there. So I wouldn't mind if it was a little more forward, but it's actually a very decent balance point, quite comfortable. Now let's show that pocket clip in action. Climbs over the edge right there, it goes all the way in, and your knife is effectively in your pocket and hidden. There's just a tiny bit exposed. The black coating on here has been quite durable. It's starting to wear a little bit on the edges. On this side right there, it's starting to show a little bit of wear. And that's because I actually use the knives that I review. But it's nice. I'm quite happy with this. What does it not have? A left pocket clip. I'm a bit disappointed. Since this knife has done better than most Civivi knives, and most Civivi knives do pretty well, this is their best selling, or at least it's got the most number of models. And yet there's no lefty love. I wish there was some versions, maybe there are some versions, I don't know of any, that have the left side pocket clip. If roughly 10% of the population is left-handed, like me, I grew up left-handed. Since I'm a knife lover, I've become good with knives in my right hand as well. Sometimes I feel like I'm even better with the right hand than I am with my left. but lefties deserve to be able to have a left pocket clip. A left pocket clip, at least on some knives of this model, would be very, very, very welcome. Especially since, they're not cutting into the G10 or anything. All they'd need to do is have 2 holes there. It wouldn't make the knife ugly. Well, some people might think so, but I don't. I really, really wish there was lefty love here. All right, that's an overview of the knife. I've told you how well it works. It's great. I'm a big fan of this. I wish they would make it with 14C28 and give you the option instead of having to buy it with D2. Well, I guess you can buy it with Damascus, but I really am getting very, very tired of D2 so much. I forgot to do the size comparison. Here's the Ontario Rat one. Yeah, not even on the screen. It's a smaller knife than the Rat one by a fair margin. It's for totally different kinds of purposes, different uses. But there you go. There's a bit of a size comparison. And I'm going to change the order up. Next, we're going to go over all the sizes and dimensions. Then I'm going to do a teardown and show you how it's built. Dimensions. The weight of this knife, 82 grams, 2.9 ounces. Good. Factory sharpness, 160 bests, below average. There's a reason for that. I'll let you know in just a minute. The cutting edge length, 69.1 millimeters, 2.72 inches. Blade length, tip to the closest spot on the liner, because the liner is sticking out the most. 74.7 millimeters, 2.94 inches, so safely within the 3-inch laws that some people have to deal with. Thickness of the blade, 2.92 millimeters, 0.115 of an inch. The blade depth, its biggest just about half an inch up from the heel of the blade, 23 millimeters, 0.905 of an inch. How thick is it behind the grind? Measured in 3 places and averaged 0.44 millimeters, 17.5 thousandths of an inch. Hey, that's quite good. Grind angles. This is why it wasn't so sharp. Average of 22.8 degrees and 25.5 degrees. In reality, this side was the better side. It started at 23.5 and ended at 22.1 degrees. Right here at the belly, and it just stayed the same. This side started at 26.9 and ended at 24. Went about 24 and a half right at the heel though, but I'm just calling it 24 and 26.9, almost 27 degrees. No wonder it didn't cut so well. Factory sharpness, it's a hobby horse of mine. Factories need to get better at sharpening their knives. It's a good knife, nice and thin. Blade shape is great. The design is wonderful. But if it's not sharpened very well, the user experience is going to be flawed. And I really think companies need to start doing CNC sharpening. Not just CNC production and everything, but the very edge needs to be sharpened by machines. Let's go on. The handle length, 101.8 millimeters, 4.008 inches. That's the liners, not the handle scales. The grip area, it's right at 8 centimeters, about 3 3/4 inches. If you count the forward choil, it's quite a bit more. It's more like 10 centimeters or 4 inches. The thickness of the handle on the G10 slabs, 11 millimeters, 0.433 of an inch. The depth of the handle, thickness this way within the grip area, it's biggest right here, 25.1 millimeters, 0.988 of an inch. When the knife is closed, the widest point is the flipper here, 30 millimeters, 1.18 inches. And the entire thing is 177 millimeters, 6.97 inches, so 7 inches across. 3 and 4, roughly. Good proportions. Now I'm going to take the thing apart, clean it up, lubricate it, and tell you how well it performs once it's dialed in. I very much appreciate that I didn't have to use a T6 screw on the pocket clip there to take it apart. So no chance of stripping those out unless you want to take them off. A little bit of a Loctite on there. You can see the white on the pivot screw. No problem getting it apart though. Just fine. It's a little bit dirty in there. That's because I actually do testing. I actually use the knife. Let's clean that off. Yeah, well made. We've got ceramic ball bearings in phosphor bronze cages like you would expect. And let's take this pin out. I'm sure we've got the typical Civivi. Yes, we do. There's a little bit of a notch on the pin right there, and its corresponding mate right there. That stops the pivot pin from spinning while still giving a full round pin, which is preferred to have a round pin for the round hole to slide into instead of an interrupted pin. And if you don't abuse it, if you take care of it, you know, this holds just fine because G10 is a very strong material. So lots of skeletonizing, even on this side. Very simple, good, solid, excellent construction of this thing. Now I'm going to finish cleaning it up, and you're going to find out about the ball bearings and stuff. I'm going to dial in the pivot, and we'll see how it works. I've put it back together again, and I realized I forgot to show you something. The flipper tab right there, we've got a little bit of jimping on the front. Great for light switch method, and it flies open now. You know, the detent's still a little bit soft. I didn't adjust that at all, but I used my favorite lube, Lucas Fishing Reel Oil. You can get it in a number of places. I've got Amazon links for it down below. But the action's smoother now. Oh, still got some oil on my finger there. What's up with that? Don't know how that got there, but, well, I do from the oil. The container's a little bit wet right there. So, yeah, I would like the detent to be a little stiffer, and I can adjust that yet. But with the smoother action now, you know, I can close it with a little bit of a shake, and it's still tight enough that there's no blade play side to side, up and down. Very nice. It's a good knife. It just needed to have the pivot loosened just a tiny bit, and, you know, just a tiny bit of nice lube on there. Very little lube. I don't use much at all. Don't want to make a big mess in there. Good knife. I'm happy with it. Are there improvements? Sure. The main thing that they need to improve is, just like every other knife company, the sharpening. But the main elements are done very well. I'm very happy with this knife. I would like some lefty love. If anybody from Civivi's watching, a left-hand version would be nice, or even just left-hand pocket clips, even if you don't do a lefty liner lock and everything. You know, that'd be great. Now, you could make a lefty liner lock easy. All you have to do is bend that lock arm the other way and put this on the other side, drill the holes, the space for the ball bearings on the opposite sides. It wouldn't be much work at all. But with 10% of people being lefties, financially, I can understand why businesses don't do it. Do I accept that? Not really, but I can understand it. So there you go. Quite a nice knife. Quite comfortable. Nice size. You can use it just about anywhere. And most jurisdictions, it's allowed, unless you're not allowed to have one-hand opening knives. My German friends, sorry about that. But thank you so much, everyone, for watching my video. Hopefully, I'll get back to YouTube before too long. Maybe I'll get another video out before I have to go. But I have to help them pack first. My family, that is, my son and his girlfriend. And then I got to help them drive. And I'll be gone for a while. It's like a week-long excursion there and back. So thanks for watching this video. Thanks to my Patreon and YouTube membership supporters. You guys are awesome. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Those things really do make a difference, which is why people keep saying it on videos. And remember, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.